fat is one of the biggest symptoms of menopause. I had it and I actually transformed myself so I have a slim waistline, and I'm going to share with you the most important thing to get right when it comes to belly fat, and that's nutrition. Hello fam, and welcome to my channel. My name's Melissa Neal, and this channel is all about helping you if you're a woman over 40 or like me over 50 get in amazing shape. And if you're here for the first time and you're struggling with menopause and you're struggling with belly fat, you have come to the right place. It's a question that I get asked all the time, maybe possibly on a daily basis. Melissa, how am I going to get rid of this belly fat? And we've often developed it. It's appeared out of nowhere. Even if you were slim all your life or had like a flat tummy all your life, it can appear, can't it, like it's come out of nowhere. To understand what the right kind of nutrition is, we need to understand what's going on with our bodies first of all. And no one told me this, but belly fat is actually a symptom of perimenopause, menopause. It can actually start as early as in your late 30s, believe it or not, and it's connected with your hormones. So your hormones like estrogen, progesterone and testosterone, they're all depleting, and that's really one of the main reasons you've developed belly fat. In particular estrogen, your body is trying to produce more estrogen, and when it does that, it kind of causes this inflammation and it causes you to store fat around your midsection. The other thing that's going on with your hormones is you'll very likely be insulin resistant. And what does that mean? That means when your pancreas is not controlling your insulin levels, your blood sugar levels, in other words. And so what you can have is huge blood sugar spikes. And again, amongst many other health concerns, it can actually cause you to store fat around your midsection. The other thing is, for many women, they're actually having problems with their thyroid function. You can have an underactive thyroid, you can have hypothyroidism, you can have your thyroid removed, or you can have something called Hashimoto's, which is connected to hypothyroidism. And so what is your thyroid? Well, your thyroid is like a gland here, and it actually controls your metabolism. And so if that's not functioning properly, you can store more fat, and guess what? It typically sits around your midsection and you really struggle to lose weight. So all those issues I've described, they're actually going to cause inflammation in your body. The good news is you can actually do something about that with food. So I'm going to talk you through some of the great foods that you can incorporate into your diet that are actually going to reduce inflammation in your body. When I was first on my quest to reducing belly fat, and I had a real problem with it, even though I was in a calorie deficit, I kind of lost weight all over my body, and it kind of looked like, I'm going to put a picture up here, it looked like my belly had actually gotten bigger. It may not have gotten bigger, but it definitely hadn't reduced in size, which was really frustrating until I learned about these anti-inflammatory foods. So I'm going to talk you through it. So the first thing is veggies. You've got green veggies like broccoli. I've got Brussels sprouts there. No, Brussels sprouts, they won't be anti-inflammatory for everybody. Some people can find they get a bit of bloating with that. So go for broccoli instead. But you've got mushrooms, there's peppers, there's avocado there. They are all great veggies to incorporate if you have inflammation in your body. And believe you me, if you're suffering from belly fat, the chances are you have got inflammation in your body. But the way to tell is You typically have more fat sat around your midsection, you get bloating, you even get water retention like swollen feet and ankles, that kind of thing. You want to be getting in healthy fats. So examples of that are extra virgin olive oil, avocado, oily fish. Now, I've got to admit, I love a bit of smoked salmon, and smoked salmon, you know, that is expensive. So if that's not affordable, go for some kind of canned oily fish. I've got mackerel there, because that is a lot more purse friendly, and just make sure it's in brine or spring water, not oil, because you're kind of adding a lot of extra unnecessary fats in by doing that. You want to be including fruits like berries. I've got tomatoes are a great fruit. They're going to actually reduce your inflammation. Now, if you have some kind of intolerance to tomatoes, which I know some people can, stick to your berries, your blackberries, your blueberries, your strawberries. Now, this is one I love. 70% dark chocolate, and you can see it's half eaten there. We both love this, Ken and I. I just have 1 square per day, if at all, that's what I have. But it's great for reducing inflammation. You want to include some sort of tonics like water, lemon, even soda is another one. And herbs and spices. So turmeric is absolutely fantastic for reducing inflammation, as is garlic and ginger. Do really try to include one of those every single day, and it's going to make a huge difference, I promise you. Broadly speaking, you want to have a healthy whole foods diet. I'm so passionate about this and about you getting it right that I actually do have free resources, because I believe that, you know, every woman over 40 should have access to the information they need to get in shape, because I know I didn't have access to that. So do download that. I'm going to link it in the description, and I'm going to link it at the end of this video. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is insulin resistance. So it's when your pancreas, as I said, can't control your blood sugar levels. And so you're going to get these huge blood sugar spikes. And so what you want to watch for is your carbohydrates. Now, I don't advocate an extremely low carbohydrate diet. I don't think that's sustainable in the long term. I also believe that you lose muscle mass by incorporating an extremely low carb like keto diet. But what I do recommend is you control your carbohydrates, and in particular, you avoid things like white flour. So that's refined carbohydrates. You avoid sugar, because that's going to give you an insulin spike. It's going to mean that you're going to store fat around your midsection, which you don't want. But there are some carbohydrates that I'm going to show you that are absolutely amazing. So the first thing is, when we're thinking about grains, we want to think about whole grains, not refined grains. So here I've got black rice. I absolutely love black rice, brown rice. If you have to have white rice, go for basmati, because it is lower on the GI index than standard white rice. Then I love like these tortillas. These ones are whole grains and they're seeded, so they're not going to give me such an insulin spike. Oatmeal is my best friend. We call it oats in the UK. You can make porridge, you can make overnight oats, you can make it into like a pancake mixture. And then you want to incorporate starchy vegetables like potatoes. If you have potatoes, leave their skin on. You know, I like to do them as wedges in the air fryer with spraying a tiny amount of oil on them. And if you have the skin on, they'll give you less of an insulin spike, because the skin has fibre in it. And starchy vegetables like squashes, I've got carrots there. They are amazing. So don't fear carbs. just watch for the type of carbs and control your carbs. You know, if I was going to eat one of these flatbreads, I just have one tortilla. I don't have a massive amount of carbohydrate. And you know, for most women at this stage in life, if you're thinking about your calories, your macros, I would say anywhere between 100 grams, a maximum of 200 grams per day, which is probably, it's on the lower end of your carb intake when you think about the standard Western, the standard American diet. Another thing that's happened, as well as all that's going on with your hormones, I know we've got so much to think about, haven't we, when it gets to this stage in life, and that is your muscle has started depleting. And muscle is the key thing that's actually going to help you get rid of belly fat. So the fact that I've built muscle has helped me shrink my belly fat. I don't do masses of exercise on my core. What I do is I do strength training, and I support that through nutrition. And what that does is it enables my body to build up metabolism. So I'm literally burning fat as I'm sat around. And that's what building muscle does. But you need great nutrition in order to do that. And what's happened is we're losing muscle at a rate of 1% per year once we hit over the age of 40. Basically, nature's going against us, and that's why we're storing belly fat. So it's not only that our hormones are changing, it's because we're losing muscle that we're storing belly fat. But the good news is we can actually do something about the muscle. I've only got a few examples here, but we want to be getting in plenty of protein. You want to eat protein at every single meal and snack. You're talking about things like chicken, fish. If you're vegan or vegetarian, you could go for like, you know, these are chickpeas, any kind of beans, any lentils. I haven't got it here, but like tofu is an amazing source of protein. So you want to be doing that at every single meal and snack. And what you'll find is that really does give you a boost when it comes to reducing belly fat. Of course, you know, protein's really important, but you still need to be in what's called a calorie deficit. That is burning more energy than you're consuming, because that's going to help you lose fat too, as long as you're incorporating these strategies, because you don't want to be losing fat in the wrong places like I did and still storing fat around your midsection. But part of that equation is actually being in a calorie deficit. So that's burning more energy than you're consuming. And you also need to have the right kind of balance of protein, carbs and fats. And I've made a video all about that. I'm going to link it in the description, and I will link it at the end of this video. So it really tells you a step-by-step process to calculate how many calories you should be eating for your size, your age, your level of activity, and your macros, in other words, your protein, carbohydrates and fats. Now, I'm going to talk about supplements, because I couldn't really make this video without that, because I know so many of you are going to say to me, well, what supplements can I be taking to reduce belly fat? And the short answer is to that, there aren't any supplements. There's no supplements that are going to help you reduce belly fat. And I don't buy into this kind of apple cider vinegar. You know, I just don't think that like drinking a spoonful of that every day and ignoring everything else around your diet and your exercise and that kind of thing, it's going to work solely on its own. And to be honest, it's the same with these supplements I'm going to talk about. But there are supplements for muscle building. My favourite one is creatine. So creatine is absolutely amazing. There's loads of scientific evidence, proven studies that it works for muscle building. And so, you know, that is what I take. It's a non-negotiable. I believe, you know, that really does work. I also take branched chain amino acids. To be honest, that's less credible, you know, but again, it's going to support muscle protein synthesis. So it can be helpful, but if you're on a budget, I would say just go for the creatine. And the other one, of course, is protein powder. You don't have to take that. You can get all your protein needs from food, but protein powder makes it a whole lot easier. So those are the key areas to consider when you're thinking about nutrition and reducing belly fat. So that's non-inflammatory foods, that's eating plenty of protein, that's getting your carbohydrates from natural sources rather than processed sources like sugar and white flour. And I promise you, if you can incorporate that, but remember, you need to be in a calorie deficit, and it would also benefit you if you do your macro counting. And I love weighing out my food. I think that really works for me. You will see results with that strategy. And don't forget to download my free nutrition guide today.